Welcome to the next installment of our multiplayer framework plugin. I'm just going to kick this episode off by fixing an error in the previous one. I actually cut the recording a bit too soon. As I went to build, there was an error. Oh, look at this error here. I actually forgot to, probably seen what I did, but I forgot to generate the set text displays. So we're just going to do that. And this is pretty straightforward. This is back on the button class. So we've got all these text blocks. We just need to set the text that we're passing in. So we just need to do a set text on each for the text that's being passed in and validate each text is valid before we try and do that. The first one's just the button text block. So that's the text field that's inherited from the base class. So it comes from the button base and it's the button text. And then the rest are common text. So just include the common text block. And now that should be it. Alright, so in the editor, we can start creating our UI classes. So we're going to go to our plugin, multiplayer menu, UI, menu, multiplayer. And the first one we're going to create is the session button. As S-game session button. So I need to just call that session button widget. So the first thing we'll add is a horizontal box. Add a border. And an overlay. Size box. I'm just going to drag in the elements and we'll come back and go through them. Horizontal box. Another horizontal box. Actually, we'll take that from there. So just the desired. And then the first horizontal box should be just default. And now border will be fill. And we'll add a border material. So UI material. We'll make this dark. Box 0.5. That default padding up there is fine. The overlay can just stay as default. That's all fine as well. The size box, put a padding on that. 16. And stretch that to the full length and height. And now first horizontal box, no padding, fully stretched. And our next one is going to be set to fill, no padding, and we're going to rename this one to game info box. We need to get rid of this grey button crap, so we'll put on the style on the upper level of clear, and we might actually just set a width and a height. So there we go, and this text here is the first, if you recall from the button base, this is the first text field, so I'm just going to add the code brackets to show that this is set by code, but it's going to display the game name, I think it was. I can't remember what I was passing now, but we can change it if it's not that. Should I put I don't think I was meant to put that on there. Yeah, so it wasn't meant to be the material here, so I'm going to clear that and then go put it here. So this is where we should select our material on the actual button. It's going to mess up now, but it'll sort itself out when we can build. So down into our horizontal box here, our game info box, we want to start adding text. So the first one's going to be that button text block, which is from the base class, and we'll set this to fill. We'll set this to fill and 0.3 here, so it'll take up 1/3, and we'll put it to the left and center vertically. Alright, so we need another text block, and this will be the map. So we call this map text, which is just here, and this will be the map. And I'll put this in here. This will be the game. Game name. Oh, we need to, so this one we also need to fill, and we'll put this to 0.3, fully stretched, yep. And then the next one we're going to need 2 inputs for the ping, so I'm just going to add another horizontal box to this horizontal box, and this will be the ping box, and we're going to need 2 texts in there. So one will be the actual variable called ping text, which will be the actual ping, and this one's just, well, we don't need to name that, but we can just put in ms for milliseconds. Put in here, just put in curly brackets 999, just a default text there for now. And then on that horizontal box, we just need to set that to fill, and 0.3. Center, stretch, that's fine. And then for the last bit, we're going to use, that's going to be the player counts. So again, it's going to be a number of texts. So we'll put in another horizontal box and text, and we'll put in 3 in here. So the middle one is just going to be like a slash. I'm going to do space slash space. The top one will be the player count text. Oh, sorry, that's not the text that should be in there. So we'll just put this to 99 for now, and the variable name should be player count text, which is here. And then the bottom one is the max player count text. Like so. All of these I'm just going to set to center, center. For the horizontal box, I'll just rename this player count box. And then I'll just fill. And we'll just make this 0.1. It's not going to need us much space. So that will tidy in there. So see if we can build this now. Button border. Alright, so this needs to be called button border. Oh, that's why that wasn't assigning that whole time. What's going on here? I just need some example text in there. So the map text, I'm just going to center. And that's left center, yep. Might make these upper and center upper. There we go. That's what I wanted. So it's centered, but it's stretched. And then every gap here. Yeah, I think that'll sort itself out when it gets added to the. Alright, so that should do. So that's the button widget done. So let's go make our entry. It was called session, game session entry is what we're looking for. And we're going to call it W session entry widget. So this one we just want to add a size box. And we want to add our session button. Set it to desired. I think I've seen an issue there, so I'm just going to go back to the button. I think this may need to be centered here. The vertical centering. Yeah, that's good. Because you could just see there where it was stretched. It wasn't in the center, so that sorts that out. I wonder if that's... I'm going to put this back to 3. And this to 1, yeah. How do I get this big gap here? I think these, yeah, need to be fully stretched and not aligned. So I'm going to put this one to centered. Yeah. This one here, that needs to be left aligned so it stays close to the writing, the digits. And then this one can be right aligned. Oh, that's what we didn't do actually. I didn't put styles on these. Let's put a style on all of them. Five, let's try 4. Yeah, so that's style 4, so that'll do. To leave it as centered. Sorry, jumping back and forth here. Oh, that's what I wanted. There we go, evenly spaced out. Although, this one is not center aligned. Let's center align the horizontal box. Alright, I'm happy now. So we can change this back to desired. And what we want to do is name this session button, so it links to the C++. Sorry if I've been jumping around a lot there, but that's the formatting anyway. That's all good. So that's just so it links to the C++ and generates that proper entry with the interface and all that. Alright, so the actual join page. So we're gonna, the join display menu. So this is going to inherit from the S menu join session widget. It would be called W menu join session widget. So in here, start with an overlay on this one. So we're going to have some floaty stuff like the spinner and the no sessions found. Add a blur like we did with the last menu. We'll set that to 8 and fully stretch it. Oops. Yep. And we'll add a common border. So this is also fully stretched. And then we're going to add a vertical box. And this will have a padding 64, get it off the edge. That's it for that. And we're going to add another border. This will be our new border, or inner border. And we're going to set that to fill. And we're going to go down to the texture. We're going to set that to our UI material. Just the default one there, box 0.5. And then inside there, we're going to get another vertical box. And we'll just take that padding out. And we're going to add our title. So throw a scale box in. Set a bunch of padding on that as well, 64. And then we'll do that scale to X down only. And then we'll add the text to that. So we'll need some common text. I always miss the scale box, I don't know why. And then we'll set the text to join, or whatever you want to call your menu. And I'll center that. Center. And oh, we're right past it. There we go, to upper. And then we'll apply H2. No, H3. Yeah, that looks good. So we just want to put another overlay in here. on this vertical box. We're going to get that to fill and add a padding. What we put at the top, 64 was it? Yeah, so we're just going to take the top off. Yeah, that should be alright, because the title's got 64 on it already, so it gives us some spacing. And then we'll put a vertical box in there. So this will be our bottom part, stretch that out. And then we're going to need like the title headers for the list, so we're going to do another border. And then I'll call this title border just for reference. And then give it some padding on the left and right, 16. We'll center it. And I'm going to give it material. So I want this to just stand out different to the list, I guess. So the list entries will be dark, so we'll make this dark as well, but it will be like offset, so there'll be a gap between them. So we'll make this dark. Box 5. We want a horizontal box. So we're starting to do our actual titles now. Give this padding 16. Might do that a bit less actually. 8. See how it goes. So now we want some text in here for our titles. So we're going to need a common text, and we're going to need 4. So the first one will be the game. Second one will be the map. Third will be ping. And the last one will be players. We'll add a style to all those. Oh, that's a bit small. 5. Oh, I just did 5. Let's change it to upper first. See how it looks. Yeah, I think I might leave that size but fix that padding. So go to this, put this back to 16. Yeah, that might be alright. So there we go. Now for each of these we want to do the same fill that we did on the other one. So 0.3 for the game, 0.3 for the map. I think this was 0.2. I have to check, aren't I? And this last one was 0.1. So if we go back to our button, we can ping box was 0.3, not 0.2, and the last one's 0.1. So this one is 0.3. There we go, and I'm going to mess with the header. Yeah, kind of want something in between those two. I'll leave it there for now. So that's our title border. So now in here we need to add our list. So we're going to use an overlay first. This will be our list overlay, and then we're going to add our list view. And you can see here, hang on, we'll just format this to be the full size. And we'll add that same padding as the header. And you can see here it says no entry widget class specified, blah blah blah. Vertical, single, yep. If we scroll down here, it's got the entry widget class, and we want to change that to our session entry. So as long as you've got that interface implemented, you should get that there. And then this number of designer previews is what's showing up. So it says, do you want to have some previews there so you can see what it looks like? So that's what is going on there. If you recall, we clear this list out when we regenerate it, so they won't be there when the thing starts.
So that's our list done. If you want to look at it more clearly, like say you've got all these dotted lines, if you just press G on your keyboard, it gets rid of all the crap and you can see what it's going to look like if you click off it or whatever. But it's the same for when you're in the editor. You press G and it gets rid of all the shapes. So like um, you've got like stuff like this. You press G, hides them. The next part is our spinner. So we want to put the spinner on this overlay here so it'll come up so we can center it in the list view. We'll add a size box so we can control it. We'll look at the size of it. And then we'll add a common border just so we can apply the material. Can't remember if I've made the spinner one. I'm going to find out. So on the size box, we'll just center it, and we're going to fix the width and height to whatever size you want it. So that'll make it so it's not distorted. And then on the actual spinner, we'll name this one spinner display. I think we are talking to that in C++, and that's what we called it. And then we shouldn't have to change anything here, except we need to put our spinner. Do I have a spinner? I can't remember. Don't. So I'm going to create that quickly. I'll just inherit from this one. I'm going to call it inlay border spinner. Turn all these on and turn that one on. We have a spinner. And we'll apply our spinner. And now the other one we have to add is the no sessions found. So we'll add that to overlay as well. And we'll just do that with a common border again. And call this one no session display. Sessions display, I believe. We'll find out when we try and build in a sec. And then we'll just add some text for that one. Text. That's right there in front of me. And the text doesn't need a name unless you want to change it on the fly. So in my text, just gonna say no sessions. Should we capitalize? No sessions found. Try refreshing the list. And we'll add some padding to this. Now we're gonna add a text style for. Maybe make it a bit bigger. Yep, maybe a bit too big. That'll do. And then on the border, we're actually going to add a border. So we'll center it first so it comes up in the middle, and then we'll add material here and we'll make it UI material. Oops. And just make it default box 0.5. Oops, it's 0.6. There we go. And I just can't handle that font. I really need one in between. There we go. And then the last thing to do is the buttons at the bottom. So they need to go outside our inner box here. So we'll grab our horizontal box and we'll give that some padding, 32 and 8. And then here we'll put our buttons. And we'll do the spacer trick again, which is under, oh, it's open in front of me. Set that to fill. And then this is the back button. And this is the refresh button. Probably don't need this, but let's make sure that's left aligned. It's right aligned. So now if we try and build, missed one name, and it was the list view. Common list view. Oh, the wrong one. We needed a common list view. So let's just delete that and add our padding back. Stretch it across and assign the widget. And we should be, oh wait, rename it. And then we should be good. Sweet. So the last one we need to make is our actual, just our menu. So we're going to go widget, blueprint, S menu. We want to create the multiplier widget. It's going to be W menu multiplier. In here we had some classes we wanted to reference. So that should be pretty easy. Do that before we forget. And then for our page here, we'll start with an overlay. And then we'll do the usual blur. Size box on the overlay. We'll just call this menu panel. We'll adjust this and vertically center it. You could do the menu however you want, you know, like so many different ways you could do a layout of a menu. We'll just add another overlay to that. We'll add a horizontal box to that. Some padding. And then we'll go to scroll box. So this is just to, like if you imagine looking at it on a phone, say, this is what will let it do that. So our scroll box will fill, center, and set the usual settings. And then on the scroll box, we'll add a, I'm going to have a horizontal layout. Actually, we probably could do a wrap box here, right? So let's do that. And we'll just add a wrap box. And then in the wrap box, we'll put our buttons. So, and we want host, join, and exit. And I want this wrap box to be orientation horizontal. Yeah, so that's it sort itself out. Center everything, and then I'm going to add some padding to these guys. So just 8. There we go. Phil fixes it. We just need to name these now. So just check the names. It is host button, join button, and exit button. Exit. Host. And join. There we go. And if you wanted to not blur the whole background, maybe just blur this box here, you could just put an overlay underneath. Like keep that overlay there, but put another one underneath this panel and put the blur there. So with that done, that is all of our UI done for our multiplier menus. In the next video, we're going to look at implementing it so it loads on startup and conducting any fault finding that we need to do. Please don't forget to like if you found this tutorial helpful and subscribe so you don't miss out on future tutorials. You can join me on Discord or sign up to my Patreon where you can get access to all my tutorials early and the project files, as well as gain access to behind the scenes on my current game development. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you next time.